Welcome to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo.
And I'm Cara Falco. Let's start off with a check of the weather with meteorologist Mike Favetta.
Hey, good morning, everyone. We have a pretty gray and gloomy day shaping up here across New Jersey, but the good news is the sun returns early tomorrow and the weekend looks very dry. So despite all of that rainfall, which is actually quite needed after we've been through several dry weeks here across New Jersey, haven't really had a significant rainfall in a while, this half inch to an inch of rain across some parts will actually do us some good heading into the weekend, and then the November chill returns. All of that coming up with the forecast. We look outside right now and temperatures are chilly across the state, holding in the upper 50s and even some 40s, but we anticipate a little bit of a milder trend to start the day. And with that cooler weather rolling in through this afternoon, as the rain wraps up later on tonight, it'll start to feel a little bit more pleasant into the overnight, because that's when we dry things out. And we start off our Saturday on a nice dry note with a few clouds. Those clouds clear by Saturday afternoon. There will be a cool down on the way for Sunday. That's where you'll really begin to feel the November chill come back into the picture. In fact, I think by the end of the weekend, temperatures will hold in the 40s and 50s as highs and stay there going into next week. So the next few days here across the state looking quite chilly with the sunshine back tomorrow. We climb into the upper 50s and maybe some low 60s in the warmest locations. Sunday is cooler still. The high, only 50 degrees. That's a solid 15 degrees cooler than we endured over the last few days, and then by Monday we have another quick chance of showers by the afternoon. So all in all, an improving forecast beyond the rain boots weather today, and it'll look quite nice going into this weekend. We'll give you all the details and let you know how chilly it gets coming up on the 7-day forecast. That in a few minutes.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, that rain was a little brutal this morning.
Oh, wow.
Ugh.
Bad hair day.
Yeah, exactly.
It flattened. I had nice curls going and it just went.
Oh yeah, no, mine goes in the opposite. It's like a barometer. I know what's coming. It just keeps getting bigger.
Mike should use your hair for his weather forecast.
You could. It's pretty accurate.
So New Jersey continues to live up to its reputation of being one of the most interesting states for politics. We just saw one of the tightest governor's races in state history, and a major political boss loses to a newcomer. Joining us now is the host of NJ Politics on NJ On Air, Laura Jones. Hi, Laura.
Hi, ladies. Good to see you this morning.
So what is the latest in the governor's race? You know, I thought we were headed for an audit, a recount, but it looks like none of that is going to be happening.
Correct. Jack Girardi's campaign has put out a press release saying they're going to have a press conference later on this afternoon to address the election, and it looks like he is going to concede. They've spent the past 9 days really poring over all of those mail-in and absentee ballots. At one point on the night of the election, it was within 1%, and if it gets to that 1%, then you can do a recount, but that gap actually spread to about 3% to Phil Murphy. So that's what we're expecting for Jack Girardi to come out and to address that and to officially concede the race.
So, Laura, why was this particular race so tight? All of the polls had Murphy winning by a large margin. What happened?
Right. Well, that's what polls, politicians, and pundits, everybody's poring over the data, trying to figure out what happened. And what they're finding out is there was a really big red wave in the southern part of New Jersey, and that was driven a lot by local issues as opposed to what matters at the top, right? Most people, they come out because they're going to vote for governor, but a lot of people were really energized by these school board elections, and that kind of drove a red wave in South Jersey and also in Bergen County. That's 12% of the state's vote. That went to the Republican Jack Girardi, and last year Joe Biden won that by double digits. So you have the school boards, they got a lot of Republicans energized and out there, and that big unaccounted vote, it really split, showing that the state is still very much polarized.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were alluding to those South Jersey races and issues. I mean, Sweeney has been a mainstay in the state Senate, and he lost to Edward Durr, a truck driver. I mean, what an unbelievable upset. How does that tip the scales going forward?
Yeah, right. Well, Ed Durr, newcomer, Steve Sweeney, nobody really expected that. And Steve Sweeney held out until about midway through the week, thinking that the mail-in ballots would make a difference, and it did not. He says, listen, I'm still going to stay involved. I'm still going to be listening to the people. But I think a lot of pundits are saying, well, maybe you really weren't listening to the people. Maybe you got too into that political insider circle in New Jersey and forgot to listen to your constituents and what they want. Because, what elected him almost 20 years ago was he is an iron worker who understood the issues of the people. And that's what seemed to have happened with Ed Durr, who is now the state-elect. But he's kind of getting to a little bit of hot water with some former tweets. So, he's going to have to be explaining himself. And I know that he's trying to meet with, he said some very anti-Islamic comments in the past. And so he's trying to make amends already for that. So Steve Sweeney said he's going to stay engaged and involved. But yeah, it's the end of an era, 20 years. And he is not going to be entrenching come January.
Wow. That is wild. So, Laura, New Jersey, typically a blue state. Is that something that could change for next year's midterm elections with all of this?
Right. Well, good question, because there are a million more Democrats than there are Republicans in New Jersey, right? So you think blue state. However, it's that huge unaccounted, unaffiliated voters that really are key to an election. So again, pundits, politicians, pollsters, they're already looking to 2022. Republicans are energized. They saw how close it was. And, they are out there and they're listening and they're already strategizing for, can New Jersey put up a congressional candidate? Can they make gains on the congressional side? Because 2022 is a congressional election. And of course, they're already talking about 2023 when the legislature and the assembly will be up. And then 2024, I already seen Chris Christie a couple of times making the rounds talking about 2024 presidential election. So yeah, we're always on to the next election in New Jersey. We used to joke that New Jersey.
Can we tell Christie to get the hell off the beach? I mean, really, that one's a wrap.
He's old news more than anything. I think there's definitely on the Republican side some leader. Ron DeSantis comes to mind. I think there's definitely better power players in that party than Christie at this point.
Yeah. Well, he's making the rounds, and a lot of times when you have former governors making the rounds, whether or not he runs, he's somebody who has influence. And when you make those media rounds, it addresses a little bit of that as well. Ooh, he's got that access. So it may not be an indicator that, he would definitely run, but, he's out there and he does like the spotlight.
Oh, does he ever? Wow. Thank you so much, Laura.
You're welcome.
And you could check out Laura on NJ Politics anytime on the NJ On Air app on your phone, tablet, or Roku, or at njonair.com.
All right, Lisa, we've been gearing up for Thanksgiving, and your turkey might gobble up a little more of your cash this year. Just how much? The USDA says frozen turkey is likely to go up at around 22% this year. The Department of Agriculture says frozen turkey is going to cost about a quarter more per pound than they did last year. Fresh turkey may be the most expensive, possibly doubling in price, and the price increases are being blamed on a drop in production and inflation. I don't know.
I wonder why the drop in production.
You know what? I think we were talking about this just as a family last night. I think a lot of the, when the pandemic hit, farms lost workers. They had to kind of shut down their production. And as things have been coming back, it's hard to get people back to it. Food takes time. It takes time to grow. It takes time to hatch. It takes time to feed it, so it's just a little behind schedule.
What do you, you're the foodie here. What do you do? Frozen turkey, fresh turkey?
I try to get fresh turkey if I can. And I'll tell you what, there is, even here in New Jersey, I know one of them comes to mind is Goffel Farms, but there's a couple of farms locally in New Jersey where they've stayed in production because they're small family farms, and you can absolutely go order your turkey from them. I think this is going to be a really good year to shop local.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. We might not have a choice.
We might not have a choice, but I think you're going to see what your local farmers, your local producers can do for you this year.
Yeah. So did you know that your kid's lemonade stand might have been illegal? Well, it's not anymore. Legislation sponsored by State Senator Michael Doherty allows children to run temporary businesses like lemonade stands without municipal permits. It was signed into law by Governor Murphy this week. I had no idea.
You know what? I have heard about this, and I know, there's a couple of young kids on my street, and they do often do lemonade stands. And thankfully, for the most part, people leave them alone. But I do know some people, kind of get fired up about it for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Oh.
Don't diminish their entrepreneurial spirits.
No, not at all.
Also, but I know my dad's been telling me to go get a job since I was like 7 anyway.
Exactly.
Let him go. Let him work.
You're going to see Liana like running camera in here.
I would not be surprised. Not at all. From your child, definitely not.
Well, next, how a New Jersey company is helping to honor veterans. Plus, we'll learn how Operation Yellow Ribbon is helping active duty members of the military.
And you can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll keep you updated on who's going to be on the show. Be sure to check us out. Click follow.
The American Lung Association invites you to join us outside in 2021 for our Fight for Air Climb events. Now more than ever, we need you in the fight for clean air and healthy lungs. Let's go outside and climb, because every step counts. Visit us at lung.org.
Swing the hips.
Oh boy, they weren't kidding. Whew.
You're looking for a gold crown.
Sure. So you say you're helping people through. How are you doing that?
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Favetta on your Garden State weather forecast.
Good morning, everyone. It is a wet start here across New Jersey with that rain lasting into this afternoon and the evening. But by tonight, the clouds start to part for some clear sky, and that clearing will lead to a beautiful weekend upcoming, but a much cooler weekend. We've enjoyed temperatures in the 60s and even some low 70s earlier this week. That will be a far cry from average going into the upcoming weekend. In fact, with Morristown's temperature climbing to 53 tomorrow, look at Sunday's high of 48 degrees, much cooler by the second half of the weekend. And that goes for you in Newark, temperature dropping 7 degrees each afternoon. Belmar cools off into the low 50s. Trenton, upper 40s. Same for you in Camden, upper 40s there. And despite temperatures being in the mid to upper 50s tomorrow, Sunday's temperature in Atlantic City also cools off into the low 50s. Planning to watch the game here across the New Jersey. Anticipate a cool feeling around kickoff time, or if you're tailgating out at the game where the Buffalo Bills take on the Jets at MetLife, temperatures climb to 50 degrees at kickoff time in the afternoon and starts to turn a little bit cooler as we head into the next few weeks. So with all of that cool weather around, might be time to start thinking about the start of winter. There are just 39 days left until the winter solstice. That would be the first day of winter, arriving at 3:59 in the afternoon on Tuesday, December 21st. It also happens to be the day where we get the least amount of daylight. Sunrise at 7:17 and that sunset at 4:32, which is actually not far off from our sunrise and sunset times right now. Just note the temperature will cool a little bit more dramatically down into the 40s as we head into the next few weeks. So beyond that, there is a below average temperature forecast from the Climate Prediction Center, and this takes us into Thanksgiving week, where it'll be chilly here across New Jersey, especially going forward into the next few weeks. So the short term shows some chilly weather as well. The 7-day looks quite cool. We'll show you how chilly, coming up with a complete check of your 7-day forecast, that just minutes away.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Cold weather. Oh, here we go.
No.
All right. Last year, the organization Wreaths Across America placed 1.7 million wreaths in honor of veterans nationally and abroad, including on all the markers of those buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Now, a New Jersey-based company is stepping up to help. Joining us now is Joe Reagan, Director, Military and Veteran Outreach with Wreaths Across America. Joe, good morning.
Well, good morning. Thanks so much for having me, and thanks so much for supporting our story and our mission at Wreaths Across America.
Yeah, we're happy to. So tell us about Wreaths Across America. What is the work that you do, and why is it important?
You know, this will be the 30th year that Wreaths Across America has laid wreaths at Arlington National Cemetery. It's something that started as a small family project from our founders who live up in Maine, and really has expanded over the course of the years. And so in 2007 became our own nonprofit organization that adopted the mission to remember, honor, and to teach. And that all starts with this wreath laying that occurs every year during the holiday season. This year, National Wreaths Across America Day is going to be December the 18th. And you'll see a number of ceremonies that will occur both at Arlington, in New Jersey, and really 2,700 locations across the country. And you mentioned, last year laying somewhere around 1.7 million wreaths. This year, we're looking at probably doing over 2 million wreaths. And that's thanks in a large part to the work of organizations like Jersey Mike's. But it's important to remember that every one of these wreaths that's getting laid, each one of those is a gift from an American that feels passionately about supporting our veterans, showing their gratitude, not only for the veterans that have passed, but also our living veterans that continue to thrive in our communities.
Yeah, you mentioned Jersey Mike's, which is obviously a very famous chain of shops here in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
How did that partnership come to be, and how do you engage other like-minded companies into being part of this very important cause?
Yeah, and that's something that's really an easy part of this job is when you experience this mission. When I tell folks, show up to one of these events and just experience this firsthand, it becomes really easy. And the founder of Jersey Mike's is one of those folks that got out there and saw this firsthand and said, this is something that we as an organization really need to do. We as a company have thrived because of the sacrifices that our military men and women have made. And we want to make sure that we're showing those contributions by supporting organizations like this, not just because of the wreath laying, but because of that year-long mission to make sure that we're supporting not only our living veterans, but also teaching the next generation of Americans the value of that freedom that allows businesses like Jersey Mike's to thrive.
And, we were talking about, how businesses can help support you. How can everyday people also support Wreaths Across America?
You go to wreathsacrossamerica.org. There you can learn more about our mission. You can find those volunteer opportunities that exist in communities near you. You can also sponsor a wreath. As I said, every one of these wreaths is a gift from an American, and that it goes a long way. And when you look at the impact that this has on our Gold Star families, it's really incredible. This is a really meaningful organization that does a lot. And as a veteran myself, this is something that I go with my family each and every year. And we found it to be tremendously rewarding. And so at wreathsacrossamerica.org, you can find all those ways that you can get involved and support us.
Well, Joe, first of all, thank you for your service. What is the response from veterans and family members been like?
It's been huge. And I can think people often ask me, to describe one story, and it's almost impossible to pick one opportunity or one engagement with a family that really sets it apart. But the most rewarding part for me is working with our Gold Star families. So those families that have lost a loved one as part of their service, and to see the way that they continue to get engaged with the community through Wreaths Across America. Many of them have scholarship programs, or they'll be engaged community as volunteers. So they're really continuing to serve our country and our communities. And that's something that I find is really inspirational and can be an inspiration to all of us. To find those ways to continue to serve in our community and to live up to the legacy of those men and women that have served our country.
Joe Reagan, Wreaths Across America. Thank you. I echo Lisa. Thank you for your service. Thank you for the work you do with Wreaths Across America and for joining us this morning. So again, folks, if you want to get involved, it's wreathsacrossamerica.org, and we'll have a link for you at njonair.com. Joe, thank you again. We hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you, guys. You as well. You as well.
So active members of the military who are deployed overseas have needs all year round. But during the holidays, there are even more. So joining us now is Dave Silver from Operation Yellow Ribbon of South Jersey. Dave, thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. It's an honor and grateful to use the freedom provided by our brave men and women to be here today. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Tell us about your organization and what it is that you do.
Yeah, so we're all volunteer independent 501c3 nonprofit in New Jersey, where we send morale-boosting care packages to our brave men and women deployed to the Middle East. We work hard every day, every week, to send what we call a hug in a box to our brave active duty military that are in harm's way in the Middle East.
And so what are some of the things that deployed members of the military typically need?
Well, it's amazing how we take things here for granted at home. We take our freedom for granted at times. We take each other for granted. And then we take that idea that we could just walk into a supermarket, a ShopRite, a Target, a Walmart, and buy whatever we want right on the spot, or even get it delivered the same day to our house. In the Middle East, some of these bases could be remote, and we're getting a lot of requests currently by women, asking us for women hygiene products. It's pretty funny, the emails and requests we get where they say, one of them, she got tired of smelling like Old Spice. The only thing they had on the base was Old Spice, and they needed female deodorant. So it's a lot of things we take for granted here at home. Anything that just gives them a taste from home, snacks. Right now, popular items are items that are more healthy. In the past, we've sent, tons of Halloween candy and Girl Scout cookies and tasty cakes. We still send that, but right now the requests are for more protein items and trail mix, and our troops are trying to stay in better shape while they're deployed to the Middle East. And then again, the female hygiene products, baby wipes, baby powder, toothbrushes, toothpaste, things like that.
How are you able to get all of this done? I'm sure you have a lot of volunteers.
Yeah, we have an awesome, it's an all-encompassing thing through the community. We have an awesome group of volunteers that just work their tails off and put the mission first. We're all different people with different faiths and politics and everything. And we come together for one mission, and that's to bring a smile to a service member's face, just to change their day for a couple minutes while they're deployed in harm's way and away from their families, especially during the holidays. This time of year, it's hard for their families too. And then we have corporations, we have local schools, churches, synagogues, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts. It's just, like I said, it's all encompassing. Everyone just gets on board and chips in a little bit. And it's just an amazing feeling when you can send a care package to someone and they respond back and say, thank you for this box.
Yeah.
Speaking of boxes, and we saw some of them in the video there, I hear the egg boxes that you guys send are pretty famous overseas. What's up with that?
Yeah. So here in New Jersey, the Rabbit's own ShopRites donate their egg boxes before they throw them out to us. And we do go through about 2,000 a year. And they've become pretty famous in the Middle East. We've had stories of our brave men and women telling us, either when they get back or through email communications, when they're carrying an egg box, everybody in their unit knows what's in it, and that person becomes the coolest person in their unit, and they all follow him or her back to their quarters to it's 35 or 40 pounds of stuff in that box. So it's not like a little shoebox. So there's a lot to share. So usually a service member will pick out 3 or 4 things that they like and then just let everyone else in their unit go at it. And then what happens is the next day I usually get a request from 10, 15 people in that same unit saying, hey, one of my battle buddies just got an egg box from you guys. How do I get one? And then, boom, put them on our list and get them a care package.
That's great. So how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so our website has all the information. If you click around operationyellowribbon.org, you can go to contact us, of course. There's also great ways to get involved and help in different means. Right now, we're gearing up for what we call our holiday goodie drop. Each year, we've done this for many years now. Due to COVID, we've kind of had to change it a little bit. We usually do it in person, where we have people throughout the whole New Jersey community bake their own favorite holiday cookies and, zip them up in boxes and tight Tupperware, and then bring them to us on one day. We're all on top of each other, packing them. But due to COVID over the last couple of years, we've changed that. So now we're asking people to buy anything for the December holidays that you want to give a taste from home. It could be candy canes, it could be hot chocolate, it could be chocolate gelt, cookies, your favorite holiday cookies, store packaged stuff, store purchased items. And then all the information is on our website, how you can help. You could buy the items and drop it off. We have an Amazon wish list where people can go to that page and click it and buy items and have it drop shipped right to us, and then we'll pack it and ship it. So there's just a million ways to get involved and help. And just, It's always hard on these families and their loved ones when they have someone deployed. But during the December holidays, it's even harder, especially for their children. So if you want to chip in and help a little bit and give a taste from home for the December holidays, we'd be grateful.
Thank you, Dave, for everything that you're doing. It's such a beautiful cause and mission. So you can learn more or donate at OperationYellowRibbon.org. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Happy Red Friday. Remember everyone deployed. Take care.
Thank you. All right, coming up next, we are talking sports. We're talking Jets, Rutgers, Seton Hall basketball, and Jersey sporting news reporter Jason Cordner is going to join us with all of that.
And you can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll keep you updated on who is going to be on the show and more. Be sure to check us out and click follow.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
It's me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
Swing the hips. Oh boy, they weren't kidding. Whew.
You're looking for a gold crown?
Sure. So you say you're helping people through. How are you doing that?
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. Let's bring in meteorologist Mike Favetta and get a check of your Jersey weekend forecast.
I know it's raining right now, and the forecast has rain all throughout this afternoon, but if you're still looking forward to getting outdoors and enjoying that refreshing and crisp fall air, sunshine is back tomorrow, and with that Saturday and Sunday weather looking great, the fall foliage now in peak color across most of central and southern New Jersey. Northern New Jersey has most of the past peak color, where those shades of brown are starting to work into the picture, but even in Morris County, here in Morris County, where I'm located, where our studios are located, and where most of us are located here at the NJ Morning Show, you've seen some really phenomenal color. I was in Florham Park the other day, and the vibrant shades of red from those trees really popped out right there along Columbia Turnpike. So very pretty weather will allow for those reds and oranges to really pop, especially here across the central and southern portions of New Jersey, which is actually quite common to see in early November, where we see our peak fall foliage color. Yes, the foliage colors have been running about 2 weeks behind schedule, but this is on par for what you'd expect, especially with the weather so mild each afternoon. Earlier this week with that sunshine, it felt fantastic with all that clear, beautiful weather. Well, the sun sticks around this weekend for some sunny, clear skies throughout tomorrow and Sunday. However, it does turn much cooler. Notice the overnight lows dipping down into the 30s by Sunday night, and then Monday morning starts off chilly with a few afternoon sprinkles possible. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday also rather cool. So all of that lovely September-like weather we've enjoyed this past week really goes by the wayside, and we turn the clocks ahead to another round of chilly wintertime forecasts with overnight lows down in the 30s, those frosty starts, and the afternoon highs back in the upper 40s only. But that's average for the third week of November. We'll take another check of your forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Mike.
All right. Well, Mike Favetta may be the sexiest man alive on this show.
Yes.
But not in the world, unfortunately. Sorry, Mike. I beg to differ.
Not according to People Magazine, at least. But another Jersey boy was named Sexiest Man Alive. Paul Rudd is apparently 2021 Sexiest Man Alive, according to People Magazine.
And Rudd, who is starring in the upcoming Ghostbusters Afterlife, is known for Marvel's Ant-Man and, of course, Clueless.
Yes.
Past honorees include Dwayne Johnson, Chris Hemsworth, John Legend, and Channing Tatum. Rudd is originally from Passaic, which is just up the street.
Now, you said you had the opportunity to meet him, and he's shorter in person than you anticipated.
Totally. But I think that's a thing with Hollywood actors. I think they're like larger than life because you see them on the big screen, obviously. But in
Right.
person, they're like teeny tiny people.
But I think, and you and I are both petite. And I think that's like something that just comes from like trying to make the shot look even in general when you're on a screen. So, I mean, people often, when they recognize me out somewhere, it's usually the first thing out of their mouth is like, oh, you're so much smaller than I anticipated. So it's like,
thanks.
That's kind of thing. But what do you think? Do you agree, Paul Rudd? I don't know about sexiest man alive, but he's attractive.
Yeah, he's definitely attractive. He's got a good vibe, obviously. He's very classy. He's kept out of trouble all these years. He's a Hollywood legend at this point.
He really
He's been
is.
around forever.
He really is.
But is he my type?
Meh.
No.
No. Not
How
doing it
about
for
you?
you. Like I said, I think he's attractive and he's, he's cute. But I don't know that sexy is the word that I would use. I think
Yeah.
like there's something about that particular describer that doesn't quite fit. But good on him. You know what? Because people from Jersey are sexy and beautiful.
Yeah, they're the
and
sexiest.
Of course, obviously.
So besides Mike Favetta, who would you pick the sexiest man alive?
Oh man, way to put me on the spot. Damn.
Right now.
Right now?
I got one.
Who?
One that just came to mind right now. Do you know who Jimmy Garoppolo is?
Oh, damn, I know the name. And I
The
don't
quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers.
I'm going to have to Google him now.
He's
beautiful.
He's absolutely stunning. this kid, right? He's a kid at this point.
You know what? There's a new actor, and now I can't remember his name. I saw him in a Netflix show, and he's gorgeous. He's dark, and he's got these bright blue eyes. I think his name is Aaron Pierre.
Okay.
Something
I don't know.
along those lines.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But we have to Google
Well,
him.
we're going to have to do our own list.
You know what? Maybe on social media, we'll put up Jimmy Garoppolo versus what's his name?
Aaron Pierre.
Aaron Pierre.
And maybe Paul Rudd. And we want
Mike
to hear
Favetta.
from you. And Mike Favetta. And we want to hear from you. We want to know who your sexiest man alive is. Absolutely.
We're going to do that after the show. We'll have a lot of fun with that.
Yes, for sure. I think we have sports now.
Yes, we have sports.
Oh,
Okay. We're going to go to break right now, and coming back from break, we're going to talk about sports and more of your New Jersey news. Stay tuned.
The American Lung Association invites you to join us outside in 2021 for our Fight for Air Climb events. Now more than ever, we need you in the fight for clean air and healthy lungs. Let's go outside and climb, because every step counts. Visit us at lung.org.
Swing the hip. Oh boy, they weren't kidding. Whew.
You're looking for a gold crown.
Sure. So you say you're helping people through. How are you doing that?
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. Let's get a check of your weather with our meteorologist, Mike Favetta.
We have a rainy forecast this afternoon and especially this evening for your Friday evening dinner plans. Now, while some portions of, say, western New Jersey may see those showers wrap up, for those late Friday night plans, plan on some wet weather around, especially this evening for your dinner plans. Well, mostly because the sun sets so early now as we enter the middle of November. So your weather menu across New Jersey starts off with that rainy forecast into the afternoon, and temperatures are much cooler than they have been in the upper 50s from Morristown, Hoboken, Princeton, Long Branch, and Cherry Hill, and just on par with 60 right there in Atlantic City and Cape May. Now, this cooler trend keeps on coming in right through the weekend. Highs tomorrow and Sunday only reach the mid and low 50s, and it will feel quite chilly, especially by the second half of the weekend, with much cooler weather overnight 30s on the way for late Sunday night into early Monday morning. So it's another round of scraping the frost off of the car, and maybe a little bit of de-icer needed for Monday and Tuesday's weather, with highs that only reach the mid and upper 40s. That is a solid 20 degrees cooler than the upper 60s that we enjoyed earlier this week. So a much more pleasant trend going into next week with much more average weather that you'd expect, especially for this time in November. Now, beyond the 7-day forecast, it looks to stay cool and chilly going into next weekend. So anticipate those gusty breezes, those cool mornings, and those chilly afternoons. Likely see a healthy dose of clouds each afternoon as well, which is typical as we enter the middle of November. We'll take another check of your weather coming up. And don't forget, you can always get the forecast on njonair.com.
Mike, thank you so much. You know what's great when it's cold and rainy? Pizza.
Oh, well, pizza's good at bright and sunny.
Really, yeah, at any point. Well, you know what? So people lost their minds back in 2017 when the New York Times declared that this Jersey pizza joint was, quote, the best pizza in New York. Yeah. And Razzus has continued to hold that title among food critics and pizza lovers alike. I am about to have a little fangirl moment because joining us now to talk about his new pizza cookbook is Dan Richer, owner and pizzaiola at Razzus. Good morning, Dan.
How you doing?
Thank you so much for joining us. Look, there it is. There's the book.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Our pleasure. We're very
I
excited.
love Razzus. I lived in Jersey City for nearly 4 years, and it was our favorite spot, one of our favorite spots. And we miss it. We have to come back.
And we love
down.
food on this show.
Yeah, totally. So
come back and visit.
We're gonna.
If I can get a table,
we'll take
it's
a group
very
trip.
hard to get a table at Razzus. Have you been?
No, because I can't get a table.
All right. Well, we'll change that after this.
We have to
interview,
go. We have to go. But we're going to talk about the book. Dan, why did you decide to write this book?
Well, so I've been making pizza for 18 or 19 years, and I really wanted to share all the things that I've learned over that time. And we put everything that I learned into this book. Every tip, every secret, every piece of information that I have is in this book. You can make restaurant quality pizza in your home oven. You don't need any fancy pizza oven. You just need a bowl, a spoon, maybe a pizza stone, and a kitchen scale to weigh out your ingredients. You can do this pizza in your home oven.
How did you learn to make pizza? Where did your passion come from?
So I flew to Italy when I was 21 or 22 years old. I realized at that moment I wanted to learn how to cook true Italian food. I've been to Italy 30 times. I didn't really learn pizza making in Italy at all. That was all by trial and error.
You know, Dan, I often tell people when I teach some cooking as well, you know, that really is it, because they do often, you know, how do you know when something's done? How do you know when the dough is right? How do you know? And it's like, you got to just play with it.
Yeah. Well, one of the great things about this book is there's QR codes scattered all throughout the book, leading to short 10 to 20 second videos of each technique. So you can actually get a visual representation of that technique that you're working on. So it shows you what the dough is supposed to look like, how long it's supposed to bake for, all things like that. So it's a little bit more visual than just reading words on a paper.
That's incredible. What a great idea. That's really fantastic.
That's,
so I know
that's one of the things that I wish I had when I was learning how to make pizza.
Yeah.
This was because I started before YouTube was a thing, and I just read books and practiced by myself.
That's awesome. So I know one of the big things that you talk about in the book is the 60-20-20 ratio. What's that about?
That's the cheese to sauce ratio. The quantity of cheese I like to be 60% of the area. I like 20% to be visual areas of just sauce, and 20% of the pie to be this rosy pink area where the cheese kind of meets the sauce and it melts together and creates this pink like penne vodka type thing.
Oh my goodness, I'm salivating already. And it's so funny that you mentioned that, because my little brother, since he was a small kid, he used to tell my mother to make his sandwiches in the appropriate ratio as well. And we always thought he was nuts, but now you have come out and so it's official. Like food comes in a very set ratio, apparently.
Definitely.
So at Razzus, you use a wood burning oven. What can home cooks do to kind of duplicate that kind of heat, or is pizza at home a completely different animal?
So one of the other things that I did with this book is I reverse engineered our dough to bake specifically in your home oven. So you don't need the high temperatures that we bake at. All you have to do is use the right dough recipe for your oven.
That is awesome, because I know, you know, as a home cook, that's always kind of the struggle is, you know, how do I duplicate that heat? You know, it doesn't quite work out the same way.
Yeah,
so
because you're using a restaurant recipe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You have to use a recipe geared around the oven.
The home oven.
Exactly.
So what then? So besides the dough, what's the number one thing, or maybe it is the dough? What's the number one thing home cooks can do to make their homemade pizza today? And it's Friday night. Like Friday night's pizza night, I think, for most people. So what can they do today to make their homemade pizza better?
So number one is turn the oven as hot as it can get. Use the right dough recipe. Use restraint. Don't add too much to that dough. Too much toppings is not a good thing.
Okay.
So use restraint, and just remember that it's a journey. It takes practice. This is a skill similar to welding steel or being a carpenter, right? You have to understand the techniques and you have to practice them. The first time you build a pizza is not going to be the best one, and the joy is in the journey. So keep practicing and just enjoy it.
Dan, I just have to ask you, you know, we mentioned in your intro that Raza has been named, I mean, across numerous surveys at this point for years now, the best pizza in New York. How does it feel beating those guys across the river that think they're all that?
You know, one of the big things that I believe in is your location doesn't dictate whether your product is good or bad. I don't care where a great pizza is located. That doesn't have anything to do with it. It's ingredients and technique. And, you know, of course it feels great. We have a busy restaurant now. It's all great things, but it's not, you know, that's not my thing.
Yeah.
We really wanted you to like stick it to the New Yorkers. That was.
Listen, I'm married to a New Yorker. My entire family on that side is, you know, from Brooklyn, and they agree. They agree. Raza is better than anything that they can find in New York. And these are Italians that have really done their homework on the other side of the river. And they agree you win. So congratulations to you.
We have a strong commitment to the product, and we keep trying to make it better every day. And that's why we're still pushing. We're still after greatness.
Yeah, and the food is fantastic too. Never mind their pizza, their meatballs, everything is so fresh.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know what? You know, somebody with a commitment to their product like you is always going to turn out a great product.
Yeah.
Listen, when all else fails and the pizza at home does not turn out, where can we find you, the book, and Raza's Pizzas? Because you guys have a couple of locations, right?
No, we just have the one location.
Oh, it's just the one in Jersey City. I thought there was a second one.
Yeah, I sold that a couple of years ago. But the book's available anywhere books are sold. You can come visit us, 275 Grove Street in Jersey City. And find me on Instagram at Dan Richer and at RotzaNJ.
Awesome.
Dan, thank you so much for joining us on this Friday morning. Guys, once again, the book is The Joy of Pizza, Raza's in Jersey City. Dan, thank you so much. You have yourself a great weekend. Congratulations on the book.
You too. Thank you so much. Come visit.
No, Cara, we need to go to Jersey
Now
City.
we're making we have a running list of restaurants that this crew needs to go
But
visit.
you know something? I know we were talking about all getting together for the holidays. I think it's Raza.
Okay.
All right. Dan, we'll talk to you. We got to go.
We're calling. We're going to make our reservation.
Make that happen.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks for having me.
That was so fun.
That was so much fun. We love food here.
We love food, but I mean, the hype is the
hype is real.
The hype. It's no fake news there.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's always the best part.
So college basketball is back, and joining us to talk about what to expect this season from the locals is Jason Cordner from Jersey Sports Network. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, ladies. How are you guys doing?
We're good. We're good. So our big Division I men's teams, Rutgers and Seton Hall basketball, got off to a good start when they tipped off their seasons earlier this week. Can we expect the good times to keep on rolling?
I think more so for Rutgers. You can expect some great times this season. Ron Harper Jr., he's a stud, and I think he's going to continue to develop well. As for Seton Hall, it's going to be a lot of ups. It's going to be a lot of ups and bruises for them. I think they got to a great start because they played Fairleigh Dickinson. Give them a little shout out. They're from Jersey as well. But I would say more so Rutgers playing in the Big Ten. They got a lot to prove. They had a phenomenal season last year, and I think they're going to build off of that.
Yeah, so you mentioned FDU. You know, college basketball is a lot of fun here during the winter with the
Yes.
locals. What else should we look out for this season?
Well, I think you should definitely look out for more so for Rutgers in terms of the Big Ten play, not only for the men's, but the women's as well. I think the women's team has a chance to make some noise in the Big Ten, and we might have a first time in a long time where you have both the men's and women's team both competing for to make it to the tournament, which would be great for New Jersey.
And as a Rutgers alum, that's what I like to hear. That, you know, and that was I'm about to date myself. I attended Rutgers when the football team was just miserable. So, but the basketball team was always something to enjoy and go watch. And the RAC is always a great place to go watch basketball.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of women's sports with Rutgers, I read something that the field hockey team and another one of their teams are like ranked top 5 in the country.
No kidding.
The Rutgers female sports division is doing phenomenally well. They've actually been doing well for quite some time now, but now they're getting the recognition. So they've been really carrying the men's program a little bit, in the last 5 to 10 years.
Well, see, more Scarlet Knight good news for you.
That's it. Yes. No, I'm just kind of an overall fan. Like, go Rutgers.
Go Rutgers.
No, but it's good to see the girls get the recognition, like you said, because they really did for a very long time carry the men's sports teams. The women's teams have always been championship winners.
That's wild. You know, I feel like sometimes college sports in the state get overshadowed. I mean, we have 2 football teams.
We've got 2 professional teams
and
of everything.
And 3 hockey teams. So I sometimes feel like, but at the same time, college basketball is still huge.
It's huge here.
Huge. I used to go to the Big East tournaments at Madison Square Garden. I went to Seton Hall my first 2 years. I know, rival. But it was so much fun. But anyway, let's switch gears to professional football. The Giants are on a bye after a pretty unexpected victory over the Raiders. I mean, last week we were saying there's not a chance.
Throwaway, yeah.
And we won. And the Jets are back in action with a quarterback controversy that's continuing to brew. But why is that a good thing for the team?
I think it's a great thing for the Jets because Matt White, he has a chance to not only help the Jets restart the whole program for the season because he has a lot of moxie with him, and he feels like he should have been a number 1 draft pick, even though he was drafted in the 5th round. But what the Jets pretty much had hopes for the season was that Zach Wilson would probably reset the franchise, re-energize the franchise, and he's been flat. So now here comes another young quarterback with a chance to really upstage him. The Jets are a 13-point underdogs. If you're a betting person like I am, I'm taking the Jets and to cover the spread. And I think if the Jets could reel off 2 more wins here, that's a successful season considering they only won 2 games last year. So I think a little controversy at the quarterback position goes a long way, especially in this town where hey, we're starving for a franchise quarterback on the Jets and the Giants side.
Well, you could make the argument that Daniel Jones, he's having a good season, all things considering. I don't know if they're going to jump ship on him right away, but the jury is obviously still out on the Jets side.
Yeah, for sure.
So you mentioned that you like to bet on these games. Anybody, what are some locks for the weekend?
Well, you know what? NFL is never really a serious lock, but I'm going to roll with, as much as it hates me to say this, the Patriots. I think the Patriots are coming in the fold. I think at 5-4, they're trending up. Look out for them. As much as it pains me to say that, being a Jets fan, I think the Patriots are the serious lock. I think they'll take their handle business against Cleveland.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. That's a tough one. I mean, look at last night, though. I mean, Baltimore falling to the Miami Dolphins, who have been abysmal. I mean, they've taken major steps back this season. No one saw that coming, and look what happened.
Yep.
So you never know. Any given Sunday. Where can we find out more about Jersey Sports Network, Jay?
Yeah, just us. Follow the website, jerseysportsnetwork.com. Check us out. We got Jersey covered. All things pro and college and high school.
Awesome.
Cool.
Jason, thank you so much for our sports update this weekend, and you have yourself a great weekend.
Thanks. You too, guys.
Thanks.
All right, guys. I think that about wraps us up for this Friday morning.
What a jam-packed show.
Seriously. But I'm still hungry after our interview.
Oh. Well, we have our good friend Beth Nida coming in for lunch. So
Yes.
we'll pick a good spot.
Yeah, and I brought in some pumpkin pie for us to nosh on as well. So that really, there's always food here.
There's always.
There's never.
That's
never
go
not a
hungry
consideration here.
No, I always joke with the interns. I'll get you the lunch. You don't have to get me.
You
the
don't have to
lunch.
give me. Yes, exactly. I'll get. You know what? Really fast though. We had the story earlier in the show about the price of turkey. What do you guys generally prepare for Thanksgiving? What's your typical Thanksgiving meal?
I mean, being Italian, the antipasto. I mean, I'm full after that because it's the whole charcuterie board and we have shrimp cocktail and I mean, around and around we go. Then there's the pasta course.
Yes, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Which over the years, you know, just some little like penne, pomodoro type of thing. And then my father is doing a prime rib.
Okay.
My brother is obsessed with frying the turkey.
That is the best way to do it, I think.
Yeah.
That's the best turkey
There's
I've ever
always
had is
drama
fried
with
turkey.
frying the turkey.
Oh, because it's dangerous.
It's dangerous, but also too, there's such a science to it.
There really is.
So, and then all the fixins from there. How about you?
Pretty similar. The thing I think I love the most about like Italian American Thanksgiving is we literally took like a traditional Italian meal of antipasto, pasta, you know, entrees and sides and dessert, and then like superimposed American Thanksgiving on top of it. So we do the same thing where you have like traditional antipasto, then we have a pasta course, then we do turkey. We do turkey and like a pork roast or some sort of a pork. So it's never just turkey. All the side dishes, same thing. Then we do like fruit and cheese and nuts. Then we do dessert pies and cake. We start at 2 and we eat till 10 p.m.
Yeah, yeah.
It's literally all day.
It's bonkers.
It really is. And as guys, we'd love to hear from you too as well on our social media accounts. What's your odd thing that you normally have for Thanksgiving? That's what I really want to know. What's your odd thing? You can follow us Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at NJ Morning Show. Click and follow. Have a fantastic weekend, folks. We will see you guys next Friday live at 9 a.m.